Oh no, it's... Oh no, never mind. It was dark earlier. Anyways. Give me some randoms. What's the highest? 48. 48. Oh yeah, that checks out on the original total, right? Imagine if they had 96 races. Hey Ratchet, what's up? 96 races, you think? I'm sure a marathon streamer would do that for sure. I remember back then, Mario Kart Double Dash. I used to think all I think it was called All Tour Cup. I thought that one was like the longest. It was my cousin's most favorite cup. And you know, in hindsight, I think it really is pretty much everyone's favorite. Randomly play all the stages in whatever random order, except for the first and the last. I think the first one was Luigi Circuit, and then of course the last one is Rainbow Road. We'll never get a game like Double Dash. I say Double Dash was like the rarest, most revolutionized adaptation of the Mario Kart series. You could say the glider and the zero gravity is also revolutionary, but let me tell you, Sunshine, Double Dash was unique. Very unique. How many racing games can you think of that has two racers? Oh shit. Well, except for... Well, actually no, there's one. I think it was after Double Dash. There was Crash. There was like another Crash Bandicoot racing game. And it was literally like Double Dash. Except initially you start off as one racer, and then you can actually mash into another and cooperate. Also, it was also considered the most broken ass game because there was like one exploit. One of the characters, what was his name? Engine. Apparently, I heard that if you team up with him, he breaks the game. You cheat, you win, you get ahead of the pack. But yeah, no. Not that many games after that had a two drivers in one car. Plus, what was also very unique about Double Dash is the co-op. How you could... It's two players in one car. I miss the old days. Does Jackie and Akira count as one in Sonic? Oh yeah, right. I guess. But unless they have like a double dash function, then maybe not. Like 50-50. Because yeah, in Double Dash, in order to use the other item of your choice, which again that's something very, again, revolutionary for Mario Kart. Like, you know how right now I have a mushroom and 2 shells. If this was Double Dash, I would have like swap. That's something, at least in my definition, is like what 2 in 1 can do. I did it! At what cost? I crashed into a wall, but I actually dodged the blue shell with a mushroom. I just did it. I didn't know what the timing is. Awesome. No, seriously, I never ever used the blue shell mushroom trick. I got lucky. But anyways, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So Double Dash, unlike the 2 characters you mentioned, Ratchet. Yeah, in Double Dash, you function technically control two characters. Yeah, you have the one that's the driver and the other that throws the item. And yeah, like I mentioned before, if you have like two items, you can swap at your own leisure. So, you know, say if you want to keep your red shell, let the driver hold it, and then, you know, use the other item that you want to dispose of. Or if you really need the red shell, then swap the character. In co-op, though, what's interesting is you could choose to swap, or the driver character can throw the item to the back driver, if as long as the back seat guy character doesn't have an item in hand. So unless Jackie and Akira does something like that, then no, that's more like just a one character function. Kind of like when Banjo-Kazooie were in the first Sega All-Stars Racing. Yeah, remember that? The Xbox version of All-Star Racing had Banjo-Kazooie. It was like the it was like the featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series label. But it was more than a label. They literally had Banjo-Kazooie in the front cover. Whereas if you look at the Wii and the PS3 cover, he's not present. Like a Photoshop image. They just removed him. I gotta try that mushroom blue shell trick again. I have actually never pulled that off. That's my first time ever doing it. And holy shit, I did it on live stream! Except next time, don't crash into a fence. I did it out of panic. I actually had a dream that I was gonna do that. I guess dream fulfilled. Except it was in a different course. And yeah, you can still actually do that trick in Mario Kart World. I actually seen a couple of clips of people pulling off the mushroom blue shell trick. Speaking of lucky, or hang on a second. Did you hear that Xbox cancel Perfect Dark reboot and the studio initiative shutdown? Yeah. It's what people are calling it some are calling it a meltdown. Others are looking at it from a different point of view. They're calling it Microsoft just doing a house cleanup. Yeah. 9,000 people have been cut. And then yeah, it wasn't just Perfect Dark. I think there were like some unannounced projects that were also canceled. What the canceled projects are, I don't know, but some folks are. I actually got got some word bouncing around all over the internet saying that this isn't like entirely a bad thing. It's just, again, Microsoft cleaning up house, and what they mean by that is Microsoft is trying to restructure basically their game development. And the reason, and one of the core, one of those examples / reasons was Perfect Dark itself. Perfect Dark, the reason why it got canceled, and I know, I feel bad about that too, but hear what, oh dang it, but hear what, or how do I say this? But this is what I heard. Again, it's just what I heard, so you can take it for granted or not, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's just a he said, she said kind of moment, and stuff that I hear from the internet. Whatchamacallit. So, how do I say it? Xbox has no games. Well, I guess it's no longer a meme, right? Or like a well, it was kind of like a meme at the time, but I guess it's kind of true. But hear me out, or hear Microsoft, hear what I've heard for what Microsoft is trying to do here. So going back, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so Perfect Dark, the reason why Perfect Dark got canceled was because of the people, the company, the development team who was working on the game. They were actually going to do the stunts that you probably have heard from other video games, like strong female protagonist and blah blah blah. What do you call that thing? You know, the 3 initial words, DEI. Basically, put it this way: think of it like what Marvel has been doing with all of their movies. Like, you know, again, strong female protagonist, men are weak, and blah blah blah. Or yeah, Snow White. Snow White is also another example. that's what Microsoft eventually saw what was happening with Perfect Dark, and considering that is not the market that people are into, especially when you look at Assassin's Creed. Remember Assassin's Creed Shadow? Look how Ubisoft did that, and Star Wars Outlaws. What did those two games have in common? Strong female protagonists, blame the male characters, blah blah blah, make the female character less attractive. And then when you look at Stellar Blade, hey, that game sold well. Why? Well, I guess you can, what people are calling it, Gooner Game of the Year, sure. And it's not just that. It's not just the character design. It's also the gameplay. I mean, yeah, because Stellar Blade's kind of like a Souls game. Expedition 33, that game sold pretty well too. And the characters, they may not be a Gooner level, but they were given so much love and attention and so much detail, and you know, how do I explain it? I have so many words about that. But anyways, so basically Microsoft saw what was happening with Perfect Dark. They didn't like it. They understood that if Perfect Dark came out, it would not sell for sure. Heck, in fact, one piece of strong evidence that actually made it certified not sellable, one of the level designers of Perfect Dark spoke out and says, literally quote, he said, "Gamers are a mistake. We are a mistake." Like, as if we are labeled as like a disease. And if you're a game developer, or the guy who said that was a level designer for Perfect Dark, but if one guy speaks out like that, there's a good chance that you could assume that everybody else is on that same boat of, we're gonna make our game female strong protagonists, forget the males, make them weak, make Joanna Dark less attractive, blah blah blah. That's it. And again, Ubisoft did that. Look where they ended up. So again, Microsoft saw that. They realized the game dev they hired was not the right team, so they had to cancel it, and yeah, start cutting off. Again, quote, 9,000 employees. They're cleaning up house. And as for Halo, you saw Halo was also on that same boat as well. The fact that they kind of like mistreated Master Chief. Like, if you kind of like noticed that with the live TV show. And what else? No, I think that was it. And the way how 343... Oh, actually, 343 recently posted a free armor color scheme that they're giving out to celebrate... what's it called? Like another, like, one of those awareness kind of thing. But it did not get any good reception. It's just another one of those political stuff. But the point is that Halo, like, obviously Microsoft knows that the next Halo game has to be good. Otherwise, there's a good chance that Halo will be shelved for God knows how long. Like, Halo's literally on its last leg since Infinite didn't do well. Like, yeah, no, I understand. I know the multiplayer can still be fun. You can still enjoy it. It's just sales-wise, Microsoft doesn't find it to be successful. So, they're hoping that the next Halo game, the one that's going to be running on Unreal Engine, again, pulls through. Otherwise, again, that'll be it for Halo. What Microsoft definitely needs to do, like, I know it's already been known that they made a new studio, Halo Studios, right? I think that's kind of like part of their restructuring. Like, yeah, I know that came before the 9,000 employee cut, but I think we now see it crystal clear. Microsoft is trying to change for the better. But yes, this kind of setback is a big stinger. But people are calling it a good thing because, again, those 9,000 people have been doing more harm than good for Microsoft. Again, just like with Perfect Dark. Perfect Dark, if, again, like I said, if it came out, nobody will be happy about it. Like with whatever that they were cooking. As much as I was looking forward to it too, but after hearing the behind the stories and what kind of people were making the game, now I lost interest. And yeah, I think it's for the better to just cancel it. And if they ever want to resurface Perfect Dark again, they gotta pick. Microsoft has to find the right team to do it, and make sure that whoever they have, whatever company, the people behind the outsourced company, they have a good track record and they understand the objective. Now, I know people would also say 9,000 employee cut is bad. But put it this way. Microsoft has all the money in the world. But money is like... Definitely, sure, I know it's a major factor. But think of it right now. Of like other game devs. Expedition 33 was made by only 30 people. Or like 30 plus people. With a couple dozens by other contractors. Yet, despite the low numbers and whatever budget that they were working on for 6 years, that game was under development for 6 years. The game sold tremendously well. They celebrated their 3.3 million copies. And meanwhile, these AAA companies like Ubisoft, they get 100 people working on Assassin's Creed Shadows. With all the budget. With every branch working on it. And how did that turn out? Bad. Somehow it just turned bad. Why? Because it's not about the money. It's about the people behind it. The people behind the desk working on those games. Thus, that's why I say Microsoft now sees what's the problem here. Especially with Blizzard. Blizzard is still under fire, by the way. I just saw one of their horrendous cutscene of World of Warcraft. Like, you know how they make the CGI cutscenes? Apparently, they don't do that anymore. Now they're using in-game cutscenes. Yeah, you should see some other weird promotional ads that they're doing with World of Warcraft. But that being said, Microsoft is trying to take action. They're gonna get a huge, not a gut punch, but probably two. One in the stomach, one in the, I don't know, maybe in the face. But they're going to get back up. Even if it takes them a while. No, like a shonen anime character. Through their hard, rigorous training, they'll get punches. They'll be knocked down, but they're gonna try to get up. If Microsoft plays this right, though, like, if they're going to hire more people, they have to get the right people. But not 10,000 people, no. They got to get right people. And, again, Microsoft has a lot of money. They're you have a Windows, I have a Windows computer. It's not about just Microsoft Xbox products. They also have Windows. But anyways, budget is not an issue for them. It's just all about getting the right people, the right company, outsource company. And like I said about Halo, if they pull it off correctly, then they'll be safe. They'll save their own hides. Think of it like what Sony is doing. Like, apparently I heard there was going to be a part 3 Last of Us, but Sony apparently is not going to have Neil Druckmann take the helm. I mean, yeah, as you already know, Neil Druckmann is already working on his shitty new game. But the fact that he's not going to be in charge for the third Last of Us really shows that Sony understands why they did not like the second game. Hell, the TV show, the second season, as many predicted, it was bad. So bad. Yet, at the same time, in another side of Sony, they commissioned Arc System Works to make Marvel Tokon. Now, sure, we don't have hands-on, we don't have a closed beta to play it out yet to know if it's good or bad, but if you remember from that same video after the trailer, Sony wanted it to have a fighting game to bring back the hype that the esports Evo had with tag team fighting games. Sony, so sure, at one moment Sony does something stupid, but then the next they start playing smart. So I guess you could call that a balance, but Sony still has a lot of problems. Microsoft, on the other hand, right now they have dump truck loads of problems right now. They have a subscription that is way too expensive. They try to make it sound like, it's a must-have, like Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, but no. They should not rely their consumer base on live service, on subscriptions like that. They should only advertise it and say, it's optional. And then when it comes to like the exclusives, I think for all intentional purposes of Phil Spencer's beliefs on video games where games have to be shared, I think he should not have done that. Because now we have games like the Master Chief Collection deserved to be on PC. But then when you start seeing more and more Xbox exclusives being released on PlayStation, then just like that, that's already going to draw some problems. PC, it's not a big issue. I mean, hell, Sony's already releasing their games on PC for more, accessibility. But when you start shoving in your own exclusives to another console, like imagine if Sony did that with Xbox, then yeah, Sony would be right where Microsoft's position is right now. And then at that point, it's like, what's the point of having an Xbox or PlayStation then? Where's the competition? Microsoft didn't save the competition. They practically killed it. Aside of Nintendo, I mean, they still have to deal with Nintendo, sure. But the fact that they have a couple of like their exclusives on PlayStation, like what is it? A couple of Xbox games are coming to PlayStation, like Gears of War. I know Forza Motorsport got released on PlayStation. Hellblade 2 is going to get a PlayStation port. And the worst case scenario is if they bring Halo to PlayStation. If they announce that, no, then that's it. I think at that point, then a lot of people, any Phil Spencer fans, if he has any fans at all, that's where they're going to open their eyes and realize Phil Spencer was a mistake to being the big executive head of Microsoft or Xbox. Again, PC is not an issue. It was a must. Plus, if you remember, Halo did had a history of being on PC. The first Halo game, and even, what was it? Halo 2 Vista. Remember that? Hey, at least Halo 2 Vista gave us one thing. Customizing, creating your own map. Because if you remember, Windows Vista had that capability. Problem is, nobody liked Vista. We all stayed to our Windows 7. Remember that? Yeah, I remember. I still remember as a kid. I was like, Vista? I heard so many bad things. I'm keeping my Windows 7. I'm better off playing Halo 2 on my Xbox. Thank you very much. But yeah, that's the worst case scenario for if Microsoft were to do that. To put Halo on PlayStation. I don't want that. I would rather have this rivalry competition between all three companies. I want the old school competition. In fact, you have to remember, that very competition that happened, the three-way war, the romance of the three kingdoms, Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft. If you were there, you would know that there were so many games, especially exclusives, that were just, some of which are good, some of which are bad, sure, but those game devs respectively showered us with so many memorable games. And some third-party exclusive, like how Doom 3 did come to Xbox. Half-Life 2 even came to Xbox. I mean, I heard Half-Life 1 got a PS2 port, but hey, it was all about Half-Life 2. And what was it? Nintendo did have some Capcom exclusive games. Tekken was a PlayStation exclusive for so long. Microsoft had, they were late in the party for sure. They were the new kid on the street on the console wars. So, they had a bit of a slow start. Especially when I remember the first game that they advertised when the Xbox came out was Shrek. And I understand why. But, yes, Halo came along as well. But then as soon as the Xbox 360 came out, Microsoft had so many exclusives besides Halo. They had Fable, Gears of War, I think it was an RPG game, Lost Odyssey, Final Fantasy Online, I think it was 9, right? Or was it 11? I think it was 11, right? FF11 Online was an Xbox exclusive. There was even a moment where Star Ocean was a timed exclusive on Xbox. And then later it came to PlayStation 3 because, of course, Square Enix, haha, Japanese. The Japanese favoring their own home console. Although, to be fair, the PS3 wasn't that great. People were trying to figure out Blu-ray disc. Whereas the Xbox 360 had a peripheral for Blu-ray DVDs, but nah, it was just like a simple standard disc. Yeah, so Xbox had plentiful of exclusives by the time they released the 360. And here we are. What are they doing now? Phil Spencer is what's happening. He chose to be friendly with every company. Well, except for Nintendo. We still haven't seen, as far as I don't think there has been a Microsoft. Oh no, there was Ori and the Blind Forest, right? Oh shit, yeah. That was a Microsoft Xbox exclusive, and now it's on other consoles. Yeah, thanks, Mr. Spencer. But look, let's face it, we all thought he was such a great guy. And he is. If you remember, the last executive guy, Don Matrick, he wasn't that great. In fact, he was so bad, he had to be let go really quickly after that E3 press conference. Because the man even insulted the Navy SEALs. And as far as I know, you don't mess with them. Plus, and then after that, Don Matrick went to Facebook to make shitty Farmville games or something. And Phil Spencer was pretty much like, in a way, he was like the Xbox Reggie, except at least Reggie, when he retired, everybody still looks up to him as still the Nintendo funny guy. As for Phil, well, he's not leaving anytime soon. But if he were to leave, say next year, he's not gonna leave in a good vibe the same way how Reggie did, because people will then remember him as the guy who wanted to be friendly with PlayStation at Sony and be like, okay, here's Gears of War, here's Forza Horizon, here's Hellbound, here's Ori and the Blind Forest. And yeah, we'll make sure Call of Duty is multi-platform after we buy Activision. So yeah, don't worry, you're good. We're friends, right? And then, you know, I'll be honest. Having both Sony and Microsoft releasing their games on PC might have been a mistake as well. On one hand, it's fine. Like, you know, again, Halo fans wanted the Halo games to be on PC, for sure. I know, but at the same time, look what's happening. Just they're no longer exclusives. They kind of like give consumers no reason to buy an Xbox. Back then, there was a reason to get one. You wanted to play Halo? Get an Xbox. Well, now it's optional. And it's so optional that as you know today, people have high quality graphics cards and what do you call those? Like not homemade. What do you call it? Custom built, handmade built PCs, right? Like my cousin has one too. He built his own gaming PC. Excuse me. And when you have those kind of people, which, you know, there's plenty of those kinds of people, and then shoving in games like Halo, Horizon 2, The Last of Us on PC, it's like, okay, well then, no need to buy a PlayStation, no need to buy an Xbox. I have just one PC, of a beast of a PC to play all those so-called exclusives. Although, to be fair, I would not recommend playing Sony games on PC. They weren't ported right. But yeah, that's how I kind of like view it right now. Do not repeat what I say or share what I say. I am just echoing. I'm a parrot in the echo chamber. Although yes, unless I say that's like my point of view, my opinion, then yeah, you don't need to take my opinion for granted. Rather, I think, you know, it's best to like listen to other YouTubers that know what they're saying. But unless everybody is sharing the same news, same vibe, then yeah, then it's like one of those. Then it's not a news that's a lie or an opinion. It's more like people just spewing out, I guess, facts. Oh shit. So let's hope for the best that Microsoft, especially Phil Spencer, has their daily morning coffees and realize take it step by step to restructure their company. Like I said, as much as I am disappointed that the Perfect Dark game has been canceled, but at the same time, after hearing the truth, or as the reason why, and what the kind of people that were working on the game, yeah, I would rather have a Perfect Dark game made by people who know and love the game, the franchise. And that's something that game devs today need to realize. There is no need for self-inserting yourself in a video game. Unless you're unless you're Hideo Kojima, sure. Although, to be fair, Kojima is a man who, you know, an unpredictable man, but yet he delivers quality stuff. But yeah, self-inserting and... yeah. You just gotta get the right people who care about the game, the projects that they're working on. Just like how it was back in the early 2000s. There were a lot of young devs out there that are currently old, but they went wild. They went wild with their imagination on what needed to be done, how to make their games fun, attractive, make good storytellings. It's all we ever need. And I think most game devs today are now kind of like forgetting the point of having a point of making a video game. Although the only kind of people that don't forget the soul of that are the indie game devs. So much so that I heard that some AAA companies are calling indie game devs a threat. I would look at that and say, oh, okay, good. Why don't you use that as motivation to, you know, improve yourself? And then on the other hand, excuse me, well, you can't. You're only calling them a threat because they're making money and you're not. And that's honestly the most truthful thing as of now. Ubisoft can't make money, but indie game devs, small devs like Dotemu and Tribute Games, even Yacht Games with Shovel Knight. Playtonic, I know they're making a remake, sorry. They're remaking Yooka-Laylee, the first game. Cuphead was also made by an indie dev. And then, hey, look, Cuphead was so, what do you say? Was so popular that they actually franchised it to make a show. And sure, I know some people didn't like the show, but hey, I did hear a good majority of people did enjoy it. But yeah, it's just funny how these AAA devs, they lash out on Twitter. Of course, Twitter of all places. And I guess Discord. They're so like what the kids are now saying these days, crashing out on the fact that indie game devs are making money and they're not. Well, it's clear then that those people are not. They chose the wrong path of their career. If anything, they should have just been authors, write a book or something. They have no place to be in the video game industry. In fact, no. I've heard that those people, their only reason why they're in this industry is because they want to ruin video games. Yeah, I'm not kidding. One major company, which I think you heard, Sweet Baby Inc., that was literally their goal. They said it out in public. They said they wanted to destroy video games. The entire industry. They worked on Alan Wake 2, Spider-Man 2, and yes, even God of War Ragnarok. So in case you need a reminder or you didn't know, yeah, the company that wants to kill your games, yeah, that's what their reason is for joining the industry. They're trying to do like that stunts in a spy movie, you know, go within, blend in, and sabotage within. Too bad though. That's decades worth of video games. Like, video games have been around for decades. I mean, you can't take down something that's been here for many years. That's like saying, okay, let's burn all the books. Yeah, well, good luck with that. That's like saying, let's go to every library around the world. How do you think that's gonna turn out? Imagine all the librarians that will really hate your guts. Oh shoot! I thought we were going down. Where are we? Are we in Greece? And why can't Mario Kart World just continue doing this? The intermission level courses are boring, straight lines. Even the YouTuber, what's his name, Shortcat. I've seen his name pop up every now and then, and it's just Mario Kart content. He, as a Mario Kart content himself, he actually is having mixed feelings about Mario Kart World. Like, yes, he knows he can see the big pointers of Mario Kart World, but even he knows it's not that great. The intermission courses especially. Oh shoot, wait, I should have kept that. And when your biggest YouTube content creator who excels at, in this case, Mario Kart, is complaining about your latest product, that ain't looking too good, man. You want to keep your fans, you know, still be a fan. Just like, I guess, Halo fans as of now. Some have been betrayed and they left for another FPS game. Some folks are even going back to replaying or playing Titanfall 2 for the first time. And calling it a diamond in the rough. Or like a hidden gem. And hey, good call too, because hey, you can get Titanfall for less than $10. Makes you wish EA didn't cancel Titanfall 3. Hey, but hey, at the very least, you got Apex Legends. So, it's not a total loss, right? You got a shell behind you? You can barely see any items hiding behind Bowser because of his big, thick body. Oh, jeez. Is that a shell or is that a whore? That was a shell. Anyways, all of that aside, change of topic. What was it? Something happened last night. What was it? So I did my usual daily stuff as usual on ZZZ. And then after logging in 7 days, I stacked up on the master tapes. Like as you already know, there was like a 7-day login to give you like free master tapes. So I looked at my number. I had 18, and I think I have 18, or had 18. Yeah. I looked at the new banner for Ju Fufu, and I was like, I don't have enough of the thing. I mentioned before that the monthly shop has been resetted, so I didn't have enough to get all 5 of the master tapes. The two different ones. Anyways, I was like, okay, maybe I'll gotcha. Just the free 20s. Use my 7-day login bonus. and just gotcha just for a little bit. And then just after just doing that 110 pull, and by the way, no, I was not even close to my guarantee. It was just it was resetted because I already got the previous new character. And then I was like, oh, I saw an S rank, and I was like, nah, it can't be her. It can't be. I'm nowhere near my guaranteed. I'm 80 pulls behind, or I guess 70 at that point. And then she just showed up. I was like, oh no. Oh no, because one, that's unexpected that I now have like something to grind for, and two, when you get it's like a little myth here. If you get very lucky like that, something might on the same day, something bad might happen to you. But fortunately, nothing too bad happened. I didn't stub my toe, at least. I mean, like I said, it's kind of like an urban myth. I think like a Japanese thing. If you get lucky, then something bad might happen to you the next day. Not on the same day, but on the next day. Anyways, yeah, I was like, oh no. I'll have to drive carefully. Oh no. So that's what I've been doing. What I did today, this morning. I was like grinding a bit. And then the worst part is that I don't have a W engine for Ju Fu Fu. I don't have any extra like stun W engines. So I had to exchange or trade one that I had for Lyacon, the Wolfman, the big butler Wolfman, and I was like, sure, why not? Since I don't use him, might as well just give. I have his personalized W engine, and yeah, there's no rule against doing that. Of course not. It didn't feel right, but it was like a no choice situation. I had to. Otherwise, Ju Fu Fu would just fight with little damage. Yeah, despite being a stun character, apparently she's not all stun. She's actually like a support class, more like it. Like, you know how with certain characters, based on their class, you'll see on their stats which part of their stat is highlighted that you should focus on? Like, Ambi is all about impact. Rena is penetration. Nicole is energy regen. And attack characters tend to be, you have to focus on their crit rate and crit damage. Ju Fu Fu is, despite being a stun, I thought she was going to be focused on impact, because that's generally most stun characters. But no, it's attack and crit rate and crit damage. So technically it's like she's a stun that can fight. Unlike Ambi, where Ambi is all about stun, and then as soon as you stun the enemy, you have to like switch to another character for more bigger damage. But if I remember, the only reason why that is for Ju Fu Fu's playstyle is because when she's on the sideline, just like the Foxy Lady and Trigger, she can jump in and assist you. So maybe that's why. And something is like scaled based on her attack. It didn't take long, but it did. I did use up so much of my resources to set up her disk drive, and I was like, "Goodbye, resources." That's like one thing I hate. Like, even when I grind so much of it, I just hate seeing my resources go down, because on one hand, yeah, you're leveling up the character, but on the other hand, you'll never know who the next character will be, and will you have enough resources for that character. And being the even Steven that I am, yeah, you know, I always try to even things out. Oh no, how the heck did I miss that? But nowadays I kind of like now changing up my strategy. I just be like, okay, I gotta level up, focus on one character at a time. But at least with Genshin, where each day some talent domains, talent materials, and weapon materials will differ, will be dropped in different days. At least Genshin cuts me some little bit of slack. So like, say if there's a character where I have to level up their talent, but their talent drops is only on Mondays, Thursdays, and weekends, then yeah, then I can. It's like I can take a break and focus on another character, or focus on another material I need to grind for, or get more artifacts. ZZZ and Honkai even, there are no specific days on when a material is dropped. You're free to choose, but you have to focus on one character you need to build, one at a time. So, you know, at least some games, both games, Genshin and ZZZ, they have their pros and cons, so it's fine. You just have to, again, plan ahead. Strategize on who do you want to level up first, second, get what materials for what day. It's not rocket science. The only part that is rocket science is, I guess, when you have so many characters to work with, you have to like prioritize which ones. Like, obviously you would say I would prioritize my mains, which it's common sense. No wrong answers there. But then you have to start thinking about the characters that you have to level up later. You can't just always stick to your mains, because there will be events, and especially the Spiral Abyss, where they force you to set up two party squads. So meaning 8 characters. Or depending on their playstyle, you know, you gotta like have like an extra character to pocket, be your secondary. Kind of like fighting games, you know? It's like if your main is working against the opponent, make sure then you gotta use your pocket character. Or like Marvel Rivals. If somebody's being a bad healer, then okay, you switch, you be the healer, and the other guy could be whoever they main. Always have a plan B, basically. I should have just said that. Have a plan B. Plus, in Genshin's case, it's more, and ZZZ, it's more fun to, you know, experiment with some characters. Although, when it comes to, like, story content, sometimes they kind of, like, force you to play as the newer characters. Which they do, which is like a nice trade-off, being like, you can't use your main, but you can at least use the newer characters, and whether or not, if you like their style, hey, at least their banner is available, so if you like the character, then yeah, gotcha. Roll the gotcha if you wish. Although I wish I wish that's a thing with DLC characters in fighting games. Imagine if they did that with like that character that's coming up in Tekken 8, Fuku something, the really tall muscular guy. Imagine him. Imagine if Bandai Namco allowed players to test drive him before making a purchase. But, you know, they won't do that. You know why? Because if people don't like the character, then they're not going to buy it. And then that's going to hurt Bandai Namco's feelings. They'll be like, why didn't you buy the character? And that's why for live service games it works. They give you a trial, a chance to go hands-on with the character. And whether you like it or not, hey, that's fine. Because in every gacha's case, there's always something for somebody out there. The gacha players there's a variety of gacha players. There's ones who will skip a banner for personal reasons. And then there's the gacha players that are trying to be Ash Ketchum. Gotta catch 'em all. But of course, if you're gonna catch them all, imagine how many money you're gonna probably spend. Yeah, well, even if you're a billionaire, yeah, no, you at that point you just be showing off. I do find it funny that some folks play gacha games not for the gameplay, but just to collect characters. That's like another variation of gacha players. There's the besides collector. Yeah, no, that's part of the collector's mindset. They're in it for the characters, not the gameplay. Well, the problem with that is gacha games have guarantees and pities. It's still gambling nonetheless, but what I'm saying is casinos don't have that kind of thing. It's just all luck. Gacha games, it's luck, but on the other hand, they do offer chances. I mean, just look at how Hoyoverse showers their fans by giving you free characters every now and then. Unless you're a Genshin player. Excuse me. I mean, to be fine, you know, yeah, sure. Genshin players do get free characters. But it's usually characters from the permanent banner. But at least when it's 4-star characters, they give you all the variety. Like, you know how the Lantern Rite Festival in Leeway, every year, there's always... They keep stacking all the 4 characters to choose from. And while you can only choose one, but think about it, that's a free offer there. Just like how I had a hard time trying to get Ningguang, and then when the Lantern Rite Festival came, I was like, oh, awesome! I can freely choose her. Only, and then you already know the story. What happened after that? I don't see Wuthering Waves doing that. Oh shoot, too soon. And people calling Wuthering Waves the Genshin killer. My ass. Yeah, no, I decided to not give Wuthering Wave a second chance. I thought, nah, never mind. And no, not because of any random insults on the internet. Like people, woo-wah fans making fun of Genshin. It's just, I just remembered why I did not take interest in the game. I had flashbacks and I was like, yeah, no reason to go back or give it a second chance. But hey, if you like Wuthering Waves, good for you. But I'm still keeping my opinions to. And you can't change my mind, no matter how hard you try, because you know what isn't helping? It's when Wuthering Way, Kuro Games, the devs of Wuwa, the way how they keep advertising their game over and over. They're always showcasing their new characters, and I'm like, huh, okay. And most of the new characters are just so many adult figures. Where is the other variety? Where's the young and then the youngest? And lately, if I recall, actually now that I think about it, Wuthering Waves never advertised a new character, one of their new characters, any of their new characters being cheery or have like a bright personality. Or maybe their YouTube ad is not giving me the right ones, I don't know. At least Genshin has that variety. You have the adult-sized characters, and then the young, the youth characters, and the small ones, the child size. Although it's funny how some of the child size characters, they're not always all children. Like Dory. Dory is not a child. She's just a small adult merchant. And who else was there? Not sure about Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi may look like a child, but apparently she's an undead child. Like you notice, like her design is based off of the Chinese hopping zombie. I think they're called Jiangxi. Like what's that character that Capcom has from Darkstalkers? Hiseko. Apparently, Chi-Chi died at a young age, but she lived long enough. Long enough to know herbs and how climb up mountains to get them. She can even do it by herself. She doesn't need adult supervision all the time. Klee, on the other hand, while she's all child's personality for sure. But I think the other argument is that she's an elf who's probably lived long. In fact, she's already considered like among the knights of Mondstadt. Whereas Noelle is not. Noelle has been taking exams after exams trying to get in. But Jean is purposely making her fail. Because Noelle apparently is the youngest. Younger than Amber. Younger than Barbara. But she's strong enough, man. She knows how to lift a giant boulder with her one hand. Anyways, yeah. Kuro Games doesn't have that with Wuthering Waves. Yet. But even if they did, that still wouldn't be enough. I'm fine with what I got. With Hoyoverse. Making me biased? Yes. Hey, at least I admitted it. Some people, I mean, including myself, we can be ignorant, arrogant, maybe in denial. But not that many would admit that they are biased. Some people kind of get a little defensive when they get called out being biased. And trust me, I know, I would do the same. But then I would have to take a step back and be like, oh wait, yeah, I admitted it myself. I am biased. Anyways. Whatchamacallit? There was like another game that I just remembered. What's it called? From the same devs that made Tower of Fantasy. Apparently, I think it's this week or next week. They're about to start their closed beta on their next upcoming anime open world game. And I still think the title is stupid. It's called Neverness to Everest, and I was like, huh? Why? What? Neverness to Everness. It's good to see that the devs, Hota Studios, still aren't that creative, except for their character designs. For sure, I will give them that credit. Their character designs, yes, even in Tower Fantasy, are great. It's just, you know, they would have been perfect if they were in a functional game. Well, I say functional, but I mean like combat-wise. Tower Fantasy, I have like no control over. It feels like the characters just swing, do AoEs like crazy. And that's supposed to be the wow factor against Genshin. Genshin was doing its own thing. I mean, yeah, to be fair, Genshin does have like tons of those moments where one character skill could do massive AoE damage. Excuse me. But Tower Fantasy, it's like one punch, and it's already hitting 5 enemies at once. And then one of the characters drives a bike as a weapon. She, my goodness, just drives all over the place. And I'm like, I'm in no control whatsoever. Now compare that to their upcoming game, Neverness to Everest. Or you know what, I'm just going to call it NTR. I think that's what it's called. The initial, Never... Yeah, no. NTE, sorry, NTE. At least that game, for what I've seen, yeah, it looks like your characters... It plays more or less like Genshin. Which is what they should have done from the start, honestly, with Tower Fantasy. But then it quickly changed to another combat scene where one character is literally mashing one out. And I'm like, ah, and you were so close. So close. But on the other hand, outside of that, there are some interesting aspects, like how you can apparently defy gravity and literally run up buildings. I'm guessing somebody at Hota was playing Spider-Man, Insomniac Spider-Man, and GTA, because you can also drive a car. Oh, and because they learned their lesson from Tower Fantasy, rather than playing as one character and borrowing 3 weapons using their character's playstyle. Oh yeah, no customizable character. Like, I'm sure you remember Tower Fantasy has a custom character. And yeah, a lot of people were like recreating Genshin characters in Tower Fantasy. So none of that is in their upcoming game, NTE. Which is good, because that's fine. Instead, rather, now they have a dedicated avatar character, both male and female variation. Just like Genshin Honkai. You get to choose which gender you wish. Although, I don't know if it's anything like Genshin where they both exist. And yeah, I think that's it. That's like the only aspect I guess I can praise for it. No release date. And no, I'm not gonna try. It's already too late to apply for the closed beta anyways, I think. But even if not, no thank you. Because it's only the betas are only on PC. It is coming to PlayStation, but no pre-registration for PlayStation as far as I can tell. Maybe there is one, but you would have to go to the website, create a account just to make it happen, to register. or pre-reg. And then yeah, the release date, none, nothing yet. There's just speculations that it might be in winter or fall this year. Well, Hota better hope that their next game is good, because I heard that Tencent had like absolutely no interest in Tower Fantasy. They saw no potential out of that game, so they just gave up. But the devs still throw in some updates. In fact, one of their recent updates, they just started a new world. But nah. At that point, for Tower Fantasy, I'm just collecting characters in that game as a free-to-play player, so I'm like, yeah. Oh yeah, speaking of which, going back to ZZZ, they're giving out a special offer right now. I think for like $5 if you log in for 10 days. I think it's 10. You get more polychromes and other resources. I think the total after you log in, it's like 1,000 polychromes plus 300, or was it 200? 200 of the gray polychrome, which you can use to convert to the rainbow polychrome. Or keep it if you want to buy a character costume. Same thing is happening with Honkai. And then I was like looking at Genshin. Genshin could never. Like literally Genshin doesn't even have that. Which is crazy to think about, because ZZZ, they're only halfway through their latest update. Honkai just dropped theirs yesterday. And yet those games were offering those limited time offer stuff. And what did Genshin got? Nothing. Despite being the update to bring in the most anticipated character, Skirk. And a new game mode. Yeah, sure, but where's the offer that the other two games have? Where is the 7-day login gifts? None whatsoever. Because Genshin could never. It's, yeah, I bet I gotta start the story. Especially Honkai. I should not do it by last second. But what I intend to do, I'm not gonna start the story anytime, but until next week. Because I'm waiting for the other banner, the Fate, the one with the Fate characters, so I can gotcha for Saber. Meanwhile, Archer will be for free as usual, as already known. But if people wanna level up the equivalent to the constellation, like in Genshin, yeah, they could do that. Pull the banner. But I'm not doing that. No. As soon as I get the character, that's it. People are already kind of having a bit of a dilemma. The new husbando, they say, is a game changer. A big break. So they're either holding off a bit, save for Saber, or they're gonna force themselves to whale. But let me remind you folks, you whale players, nobody is forcing you. Nobody but your conscience, I guess. But nobody. So, you know, if you ever, before you even think about taking out your credit cards, take a moment and think about that thoroughly. Because you also have to remember, there will be characters down the road that will be more or less better than than the new ones of today. And if you don't believe me, hey, if you're playing Genshin, ask yourself, are you still using any of the characters from Inazuma, Liyue, or Fontaine? Or hell, even from any characters from Mondstadt? How about the characters from the beginning of the game? The ones that were given for free. Like Lisa, Kea, and Amber. In other words, power creeping. And not to mention that Honkai already did reveal 2 characters coming to the game. So you can enjoy your Saber, but hey, wait until the next character comes in and, you know, power creeps Saber. Oh, but speaking of which, they did rework some of the 4 characters. So, funny enough, when the 4 characters that Honkai had to actually reworked and improved, they actually gave out a fresh new trial to test out the reworks. So, for example, Silver Wolf, where normally her ult only focuses on one target, now her ult attacks everybody, which is good. That's really refreshing. The only rework that I at first didn't like, because I had to readjust completely, was the character Jinglu, an ice destruction character. She's the ice sword lady that wears a blindfold. I think if you remember Honkai, when that game was still in its first year, she was like everywhere in advertisements, YouTube ads. Jinglu, she went from being a simple ice attack destruction character, where basically you just focus on building crit damage. Now, I mean, you can still build off of crit damage, but apparently now her damage is scaled off of her HP. So when I saw that little note, I was like, oh no. Oh no. That's like if you took an offensive character in Genshin, and then they say the damage is scaled off, instead of being attack and now it's HP. Guess what that means? You have to get a new set of artifacts, and the main stats have to be HP, not attack. And that's exactly what Jinglu had to go through. I had to get her a whole new set, and it didn't take a while, since I got lucky with some of the drops. And yeah, it was like, okay, well, her crit damage is now at 200%. She has a passive ability where she can increase her crit rate, sure, so it works well. I just didn't like the sound of that, where now I have to prioritize HP. But I guess on the other hand, more HP means more damage and more health. And somebody on the internet told me having more HP is better than having more defense. Well, I'm putting that to the test with Bloodborne, and hey, it kind of works. Although I'm still taking a huge chunk of damage. But hey, a lot of HP, Godspeed to you if you're a fan of that in your RPGs. Heck, but if you get Farina, her damage is scaled off of HP, and once you build it right, oh, you'll love to see it. You'll see the damage. And considering that out of all the main stats that drop, I feel like HP is so common. But when you're looking for the artifact with HP, somehow it doesn't come to you, and I'm like, oh, I see. The game knows what I'm trying to do, so it's not giving me artifacts with HP. Maybe you'll encounter one or two artifacts that does give you what you want. But man, does it sting. So keep hold of some artifacts that you believe could be important down the road, especially if the substats contain something like crit rate and crit damage. And remember, the substats like attack, defense, HP. It is highly recommended that you get one that is in percentage, not direct numbers. I'm assuming because percentage has like a rounding, I guess, since, you know, it's in decimals as well. Heck, even the game data, like, shared by players are telling you, yeah, get the ones that have the numbers in percentage. Excuse me. Oh no, slow down! No! I couldn't even... Well, I kept going on the boosters. Force of habit. I heard that Bandai Namco just had a showcase today. They were showcasing the gameplay of the new character coming up in Tekken 8. But that was about it. I didn't see the rest. I was away from the home, away from the office. So I'm gonna check it out later. After this race, I want to see what other news was out there, because I did see in their thumbnail that they had a Atelier Yumiya collaboration. So I want to see if they touched on that. What kind of details they're gonna share. Can't stop Luigi. Except for Nintendo, I guess. When they don't give Luigi enough standalone games for the man. Luigi's Mansion 4? I wish. Let's see. Yeah, Bandai Namco Summer Showcase. Today, 1 hour and 1.5 hours long. Let me just see what they have. Oh, I already see some other videos, reactions, and the video thumbnail I see is Pac-Man in that golf game. What's it called? Hot Shot, Everybody's Golf? Which makes sense. Right. Of course. Watch out, Mario Golf. Pac-Man is gonna kick your balls. There's a My Hero Academia, of course, because Bandai Namco is known for giving us a buckload of anime games. I mean, if you needed more Dragon Ball, One Piece, or Naruto, or I think Naruto. Do they publish Naruto games? But okay, sure. My Hero Academia, no surprise. And then they covered on Code Vein 2, which was recently revealed. There's a new waifu with a golden heart completely exposed. Wish list now. Coming out next year. Oh yeah, Patapon 1 and 2. Yeah, we know that's coming out this year. This month actually. And then there's that new IP game where I think they also showcased this during the Summer Game Fest. The one with the muscular koi fish. Shadow Labyrinth? Is that what it's called? No, that's something else. That's another game. And then Little Nightmares 3, that's another banger hit. Because I know the first two games did really well. There's some kind of Fire Emblem tactical game. Oh, it's Super Robot Wars. Or they call it something else here. Because in Japan, yeah, they call it Super Robot Wars. A long time Japanese franchise game where a bunch of robots. I thought it was just like another name for Gundam, but no. Gundam is just included because it's, you know, of course, yeah, Gundam mobile. I mean, it's all mobile suits. The Super Robot Wars, they just highlight all sorts of giant robots duking it out on each other. Oh, look, Godzilla's in it too. Okay, good. Yeah, Super Robot Wars. Why? So yeah, I thought Super Robot Wars was just another Gundam spin-off, but it's not. It's just Japanese robots, all-stars, kind of. And then there's Dawnwalker or something like that. They showed off some gameplay. Looks like the name Dawnwalker looks like the logo reminds me of Final Fantasy Online. Excuse me. Oh, there's this guy, the Harada's buddy translator guy. My goodness, his face does not look any better. He looks like he had a lack of sleep. Why does he have a 7-Eleven bucket? He went to Thailand. Cool. I guess more to learn more about Muay Thai fight, Muay Thai, and how poetic, considering that Capcom is soon gonna release their dedicated Muay Thai fighter, Sagat. Coincidence? Nah. It is funny how, actually, now that I think about it, Sagat being tall, and then the character in Tekken 8 also tall. Early access. Oh, whoops. Early access July 7th. Official release July 10th. No, the official release is on the 11th. Okay, no, they only touched on the topic of the Atelier Yumiya collab, but nothing else beyond that. From what I remember, though, on Koei Tecmo's side, what that collaboration they're doing with Tekken is, I think it's going to be a free offer where Yumiya will be given a new customized moveset that you can use based off of. But I think it might be Rina, because they're using Rina they put Rina in the cover of the collaboration art. So I'm assuming Yumiya will start doing some movesets from that character Rina from Tekken 8. If so, then that'll be pretty impressive. Rina, she's related to Heihachi, right? So wouldn't her fighting style be the Mishima style? Yeah, I think so, right? Oh, speaking of the devil, there's a Dragon Ball game. Digimon. More Digimon. And that's about it. Okay, well, I'd say that the show was kind of okay. But no One Piece. Okay, that's fine. I mean, not that I wanted it. It's just something that I would have expected out of Bandai Namco. They do love showering us with anime games. No matter the quality, no matter the fanfare. Is that I know I make it sound like it's a bad thing, but nah, I'm pretty much like neutral. Just not my thing anymore. If anything, though, if I wanted to play a Dragon Ball game, I'd probably play Dragon Ball Fighters. Maybe. But with the announcement of Marvel Tokon, yeah, you know, forget Dragon Ball. It's Marvel, baby! I am still shocked at the announcement of that. Shocked and just nothing but positive vibes. And yeah, I know, I've seen all the memes. Capcom being betrayed by both Marvel and Arc. I'm sure even Capcom fans are like scratching their heads, being like, "But what? This can't be. What happened to all the teas and and saying the future of Marvel versus Capcom is bright? What is this? How could you do this?" Capcom created the foundation of tag team fighting games and Marvel fighting games. How could this be? Although I kind of wonder if there was a Marvel fighting game and it was made by NetherRealms, do you think the reaction would give off the same way? I'd say I would have mixed opinions on that one. Like if there was a Marvel fighting game made by NetherRealms, I would have mixed opinions. I would say, yeah, that's pretty cool, but on the other hand, look what you did to Injustice 2. Nothing but range characters. So many characters with guns and range, and where's the fun? What's with the armor system? And no option to play tag team? At the very least, hey, they threw in Ninja Turtles and Hellboy. The first Injustice, I played plenty of hours in that one. I had fun. There was barely any Rangers. But after seeing what they did with 2, I'm like, why? The only thing Chad was excited about was Nightmare 3, Tekken 8, and Digimon. Of course. Ha! Not even Dragon Ball? Eat it, Goku! You're outdated! The future is now! Same thing with you, Luffy. You're still not even king of the pirates. What happened to that dream job? After 1,000 chapters, he's still not king of the pirates, and they still haven't found the One Piece. What is the purpose then? Does what does Luffy have to live for? Thanks to Sony that made the deal with Marvel Games. Yeah. But it's funny how it's Sony of all people. And they even said the reasoning why this partnership happened. They want to bring back tag team fighting game hype in the competitive scene. Because as everybody knows, Sony owns Evo. Oh shoot, wait. That's definitely something that in the marketing side sounds like, a good thing. Something to it's like they actually thought it out, like if we're going to revenue some money, we need to do more than just selling a game. We need to sell a game that also contributes to the viewers and to other kinds of communities or events. And so, yeah, by having to revitalize tag team fighting games, because if you think about it, Evo doesn't have that many, right? Aside of Dragon Ball FighterZ, there weren't that many, all the fighting games since even last year's Evo, right? There was only 1v1 fighting games. At the very least, I did hear MVC2 is coming to Evo. Not as a main stage, but like a side tournament. And already the game has so many people pre-registering for the tournament. But that being said, yeah, it's a side tournament. There's in the Evo space, the main stage, not that many of which are tag team fighting games. In the back then, it was Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, right? And then Dragon Ball FighterZ. But that trend started to slowly dwindle and kind of like faded. So Sony probably thought, okay, we need to get the tag team fighting game back into the scene. And who better than to ask Arc System to work? Because in their recent tag team fighting game, which was Dragon Ball FighterZ, they consulted to them. Had MVCI did a better job, I could imagine Capcom would have been the ones to be consulted. But because of the reception of MVCI, heck, MVCI, if I remember, it didn't show up at Evo as the main stage. Or if it did, if you correct me on that, if it did at least once, then that's not good. Still, to have only your game show up once, and then never to be heard again at the next year Evo, that says a lot. And yeah, like I said, after Dragon Ball FighterZ, and considering Arc System Works' reception in the past, such as Guilty Gear Strive, Grand Blue Fantasy versus, and I guess, no, not DNF Duel doesn't count because that was not made by Arc. That was only published. Again, Aidings did DNF Duel. So of course it makes sense. Sony looked at Arc and thought, hey, yeah, these guys made so many good fighting games, and in the face of tag team fighting, Dragon Ball FighterZ was pretty much like the #1 tag team fighting game. So let's have them make a Marvel game. And then I remember they said that in the blog, PlayStation blog, the game didn't start off as a tag team. It started as one versus one, then 2 versus 2, then 3 versus 3, until they thought, you know what? No, let's do 4. It's time to shake up the tag team formula. We've seen plenty of 2v2s and 3v3s. And if you're a Skullgirl fan, hey, at least there is 1 versus 3, 2 versus 2, or 2 versus 3, kind of like how CVS2 does that, right? And has like how that game has like a ratio kind of build. But yeah, never a 4 versus 4. That's something that needed to be done in order to make change happen. And imagine that with Smash Brothers for the unforeseeable future. After 5 games, I guarantee you the next Smash is going to change, while also trying to retain some classic bits. Like, I'm sure the forward smash, special smash, and such will be the same, but imagine Smash having like adding a new control scheme. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, just like right now with Mario Kart, it started off with only doing jump tricks, one jump trick on a ramp. Now you can do tricks anytime. Even when you're just driving on a straight road, you can like do your own trick jump. You can now even climb up on walls and do wall jumps. That's something I remember watching one of Max's videos. Something called like changing the formula of something of the old. And yeah, we finally had that happening with Marvel Tokon. They took 3v3 tag team fighting games, 3v3, and bumped it up to 1. And we thought that was always like the stupidest thing that any game dev could ever do. But no, Arc somehow made it work. I mean, until we get hands-on, and we've seen the video, they were when they were playtesting the game. Somehow they're making it work. And if it all pulls through, just imagine how many participants are going to sign up at next year's EVO for that. Imagine how many people are going to come to Las Vegas to watch it in person. Think about how many viewers it's going to draw in on Twitch and YouTube. And that's something that Sony is hoping to aim for. It's still an unforeseeable forecast, but it's something that Sony is trying to push. To revitalize the tag team fighting game genre for gamers and competitors and even for viewers. Like, as somebody like myself who's not really good at tag team fighting games, even though I just play it casually, but I also enjoy watching it. I still remember back in the old days, back when it was always about Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. My cousin, we would always at every EVO watch. We don't go to Las Vegas. I mean, watch online, just to see the comebacks, the crazy tag combinations, the happy birthdays. Chris G being a dick by spamming the Morrigan spam, and yet he still gets his ass beaten by somebody like Justin Wong. Yeah, I remember that amazing comeback, his Akuma comeback. We need that kind of energy back in the forefront. And we have to hope that Arc system work. Like, Sony is just there to budget and market the game, yes, along with Marvel, but it's all up to Arc system work to make the game fun. But you also have to remember, with today's fighting games, they are gonna have to make more Marvel Tokon accessible to casuals. But which is fine, because we've seen Arc do this with their previous games. You can do a simple input, and they have already confirmed, yeah, if you're not a fan of just pressing one button to do your specials, you can do the classic input, the Shoryukens, Haidokens, the classic fighting game inputs. So that, again, if you're not a fan of that, of the one button thing, just there's always something for those hardcore fighting game fans. So yeah, I look forward to their progress. They'll definitely talk about all the features, the characters. Of course, I'm sure a lot of people are very, very looking forward to focusing on what characters are coming to Marvel ToeCon. And speaking of characters coming to Marvel, yeah, I did see the announcement of Marvel Rivals, their next update, Season 3. Phoenix, Jean Grey, and Blade are coming. And and there's like some weird, evil-looking villain. I don't know who it is. I don't remember. I haven't seen the team-up changes yet. Except for one, I was like skimming through. Who is it? There's a team-up ability between Wolverine and Phoenix, and people are calling it already. They're calling it already broken. Like they're gonna ban Wolverine. Yeah, we'll see about that. I mean, if NetEase game are smart about it, they most likely will make some balance adjustments. They'll probably do that mid-season if they start seeing people quitting the game and saying Wolverine is too OP because of his team up with Phoenix. Blade's finally awake. Yeah. About dang time too. I hope Blade also shows up in Marvel ToeCon. He showed up in the last time he's ever been into a video game was Ultimate Alliance 3, where he was in the same DLC pack with Morbius, Moon Knight, and Punisher. Just try to picture how an Arc System Works style of Blade. If you thought vampires were edgy, just wait until what Arc could do with Blade in their style. If Iron Man, Captain America's design wasn't wowing you enough, that's just the beginning, man. It's funny how when you look at Doom, there's nothing much about him that says like Arc System Works style, because his design in ToeCon is just Doom, because he's already perfect. Just green hood, green cape. Metal arm, leg, gun. That's it. Call it a day. And sure, add fur to his cape. That's it. You're good. He's good. He's already perfect the moment he stepped in. There's nothing you can do to modify or archify. I mean, heck, the same thing applies in his design in Marvel Rivals. Especially his 2099 design. He's already perfect. The only thing they just need to get right is his voice. Which, out of all the voices, they're fine. I'm already used to. Whether it's like, whatever it is that you can call it his voice in MVC3. Or... what was it? Marvel Rivals was like very kind of like lower tone, but it works. I guess it's just perfect the way he is. Although I guess no, the only voice variation of Doom that was like meh to me or okay was Ultimate Alliance 3. Kind of sounds like a Saturday morning cartoonish, cartoonish tone. By the time I get a Switch 2, that's like one of the games I want to reboot and replay. Ultimate Alliance 3. The game where, after MVCI, people were questioning how the heck did that game get Spider-Man and the X-Men characters and not MVCI. Not only that, but even the Fantastic Four. And they made Doctor Doom playable. And if you I don't know how you do it, but you do eventually unlock. You unlock Thanos, another variation of Thanos with the all the Infinity Stones. Null from. Oh, that's Null. Honestly, when I first saw him, I thought that was just a variation of Dracula. But yeah, no, Dracula is not coming back because based on whatever is canon from that payload level, Dracula is either dead or he's just now taking a long nap after Squirrel Girl and the Squirrel God did their job. Or again, the other ending where it's who is it? Moon Knight eradicating all the bats. But yeah, I know that guy, yeah. Huh. Okay, so then no doubt Venom's gonna have some dialogues for sure. Oh no. But yeah, Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet, totally broken. I still remember how his playstyle is just completely whacked out. I don't think he was part of any DLC. I think it was like a free character, but you had to like do something to unlock him. Good old-fashioned unlockable characters where they're kind of like useless to play as because you've already beaten the game. But that was what video games were like back in the day. Like, you know how like in Resident Evil 2, the original RE2, you beat the game on the hardest difficulty, and what do you get? Infinite rocket. But what's the point of having that when, you know, you've already beaten the game? It's kind of like that kind of reward. Through your vicious hard work, your trek through challenges after another, your reward is an end game unlockable that just makes you even more broken. Or overpowered, I mean. But hey, no, there is no moveset where Thanos snaps everybody. No, I think he uses I think there was a moveset with the Soul Stone where he just takes the enemy's health, absorbs it. That's it. I don't think I've done any of the challenges, or like I know that in each DLC there would be like some variety of harder challenges. I think that time I couldn't do them because I was underleveled. Every update, Team Ninja kept adding in like, okay, your level cap has increased. Have fun. First, it was on release, the level cap was only up to 99, and then 150, then 200, and then just when I thought it was going to be 250, no, it jumped to 300. But even with characters being at level 300, you still need to equip the gems. Just thinking, looking back on some of the cutscenes, it was, in my opinion, definitely some fanfare. Lots of Marvel fanfare. Starting the whole game with the Guardians of the Galaxy, and then Spider-Man tags along. You fight Sandman, and then you're on the raft. Green Goblin is on the loose with along with all the inmates. And then Nick Cage brings the Avengers, Wolverine, a teleporting dog. I forgot the dog's name. Lots of characters at that moment that you unlock. Like I said, it was like massive fanfare. And then after that, who was it? Who was next after? Oh no, before that, before you take on Green Goblin, Venom joins you. And then, after fighting Mysterio, you fight, you get Miss Marvel, Miles Morales, and Spider-Gwen. Yeah, again, just fanfare. And so many characters you unlock in a matter of minutes, I guess. Not even that long. I mean, it makes sense because it's a 4-player co-op game. Even in solo, you have to like still consider who you have in your party since you can swap on the fly. And I still remember there is one mechanic that the game never tells you. When you're stringing combos, which is just button mashing, just normal attack, which is a little disappointing. I will say the disappointment about that I have with Ultimate Alliance 3 was there are no combos, and there's not that many skill abilities. It's just 4. Like if you remember Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2, there would be like a stun combo, a throw combo. It's like a mix of lights and heavies, right? Whereas Ultimate Alliance 3, they just kept it very simple. Just normal and 1 heavy, but you cannot like there was no heavy variety like how it was in the first 2 games. But regardless, there was the one technique the game that doesn't tell you about. When you're stringing combos, the normal attack, if you switch to another character, any character, the last character you switched from will actually finish the rest of the combo. So let's say, if I remember, Spider-Man has like 5-hit combo. If you switch as he's doing his second hit, he'll finish the rest on his own as you switch to another. If you go in a cycle, all 4 characters will actually string normal attacks. Again, that's mostly just a handy tip for when you're playing on solo, which is also fun, where I get to do that as I'm like dogpiling on a boss that gets stunned. It's like that JoJo meme, pretty much. Where they gang up on the guy who's down. Anyways, who else was there? After you beat Green Goblin, and then it became the Defenders, right? That's what they're called. Despite not being playable, Jessica Jones was there. Luke Cage. No, Luke Cage joins you. Oh yeah, no. First you meet Luke Cage, then the Spiders. No, Luke Cage, Venom, and then the Spiders. Miss Marvel as well. And then, the rest of the Defenders. Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, Daredevil. And then, villain side, there's Bullseye. which I still find his outfit to be very, very classic. I like how just because his name is Bullseye, he puts a giant bullseye on his forehead. And he should be armed with guns. Why does he have cards? I know cards are sharp, paper cuts. Excuse me, but I think it would have been more fitting if he had a gun. And what else? Kingpin, yeah. Almighty Kingpin. And then you get a tease of Loki watching from a distance for some reason. And then the next chapter after Kingpin was the Avengers Tower, where we meet Vision, but he's not playable at all. Not even Ant-Man. But Hawkeye was there, and the Wasp. And Ultron was the focus villain, where he had the Mind Stone. I still find it silly for somebody like Ultron to be wearing a cape. Unnecessary. That was my bad. And then after that, after such a long fanfare, we finally get to see the X-Men's after so long. Because the last time X-Men characters were in a video game was aside of the Deadpool game, I guess Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And the way how Iron Man makes a pun. X marks the spot because they see an army of Sentinels. Yeah, because apparently Ultron, before he was defeated, he was gonna send in a whole army of Sentinels. It's unfortunate that even Beast was not even playable. And then at that time when the game came out, Cyclops and Colossus, while being there, they weren't even like playable characters until later in a free update. And then what else? Mystique, Juggernaut were there, along with Magneto. Unfortunate that Mystique was not playable, not even Juggernaut. But at least Deadpool was playable as soon as he got his tacos ruined. And then what else happened? Oh yeah, and then the Black Order makes their reappearance. Nightcrawler was there too, but he was playable, I believe. Yeah, I think he was. Or he wasn't? I don't remember. I know he was playable in the first game. But was he playable in the third one? I want to say he was. And I remember at that moment I was expecting Magneto to be playable. But it turns out, no, he's an unlockable. You have to like go through some challenges to get him. And then after that, what happened? Oh, the next level after that, after the Mutant Academy, was the worst level that I had to deal with because somehow the difficulty dropped from yeah, you're at the proper level cap to okay, now we're going on very hard mode. The dark dimension. Oh shoot. the dark freaking dimension. And the hardest boss that I had to deal with wasn't Dormammu, it was Doctor Strange. He was dishing so much damage, I'm like wondering how the fudge did that happen? What's going on? When did the difficulty spike go up? Oh shoot. Throw the shell, woman! Yeah, Dark Dimension. Dark Dimension is where Ghost Rider makes his appearance. And then that bounty hunter lady, what's her name? She was completely new to me. But apparently she had a variety of comics beforehand, so nice. It was nice that Marvel remembers some other characters besides the ones that people have known for many years. And then what happened? What was the next level after that? I think it was the Inhumans? It was like a short little segment too. More bizarre characters that I never heard of. And I like how learning about the leader of the Inhumans, of their little society, he's not allowed to speak because that's his power. He speaks, he destroys. Yeah, it was a weird segment because I didn't even know any of these of the characters in that moment. And then right there, though, that's where they introduce Thanos' son. I think his name was Thane, right? While Thane claims that he is practically the opposite of Thanos. But, nah, there were some red flags. Especially the moment he started to see the Infinity Stones, and it's like, oh yeah, we know where this is going. Like father, like son. It's gonna happen. It was going to happen. But then we get interrupted knowing that Winter Soldier calls in. And yeah, Winter Soldier is not even playable. That he's hiding out in Wakanda. Ha ha ha, I get it because the MCU did it. And then yeah, Wakanda is being invaded by AIM. And when it's AIM, that means Giant Head MODOK. But before that, there was that character, forgot his name. In the MCU, he had his arm cut off. And then when I found out that was him, like Marvel comic style, I was like, really? How come he didn't get a Mega Man arm cannon in the movie? And then it's at that point, that's where both Black Panther and Storm appeared. I remember I was like, where is Storm? This is the X Academy. I see so many X-Men characters, but no Storm. But then it makes sense. She does have a strong affiliation with Black Panther. Speaking of the X-Men characters in the X Academy, yeah, I'm not gonna hide it. I was so looking forward to seeing playing as Psylocke. I see young lady with katana, I play. She had like an average build stats, nothing like something that she favors in, but that's fine. That's the kind of young lady character I'd be down for. Kind of even Steven style. Plus, I was like, this is Team Ninja quality. I see the thighs. I see thick thighs. I'm saving lives. Heck, if you see the art concept of Ultimate Alliance 3, Team Ninja has a dedicated sketch of Psylocke and a 3D dimension of her thighs, trying to point out, yeah, we're Team Ninja. We used to make attractive female characters, so we still haven't lost our touch. Here, take a look at how we tried to, how we had to make her thighs look attractive. Oh, dang it! Who put that banana there? I was so ready. Well, okay, well, kind of ready. I bet it was you, Diddy Kong. Anyways, so Wakanda. What happened after Wakanda? Oh, yeah. I think at that moment, Thane starts to show his true color of interest. And then I think he sends the others to hell. The Asgardian hell. We get to meet Valkyrie, but Valkyrie's not playable. What the fudge? More characters that didn't get their chance to be playable at all. At least Cyclops and Colossus were playable. Only because it was already planned ahead of time. That's why they were given out for free. And then of course we got to see Hela, and the heroes had to deal with the big guy. What's his name? Sulter? Yeah, Sulter. I was gonna call him Sulfur. His name does resembles the type of stone, sulfur. And then after that, you finally travel to Asgard to prevent Hela's plan of taking over Asgard. But it turns out it wasn't just her, it was Red Skull. And holy shit, really? Red Skull and Hela? Nah, Red Skull should have known better. Red Skull should have known that Hela was just using him. Because as soon as Red Skull gets his ass whooped, the All-Father shows up. And Hela be like, no, of course not. I wouldn't dare take over your throne, All-Father. Loki did help as well. And Thor did vouch for him. So yeah, nice of Thor to do that. He didn't even defend Hela. But then again, why would anyone want to? She's the ruler of the underworld. Hell. And then what else after that? And then basically, yeah, they try to hunt down Thane and prevent him, Thanos, or something like that. Because I think, actually, I forgot what happened exactly. Thane sent them, or was it Black Order? No, Thane, I think Thane was pressured by the Black Order, since they knew he was the son of Thanos. They used a stone to send them away, to send the heroes away. Oh yeah, and then yeah, they go to some space place. I don't know what it is. We meet Cosmo, the talking dog. I didn't know Marvel had a space talking dog. At that point, it was like just a gauntlet of boss rush of all the members of the Black Order, and each of them had one Infinity Stone, respectively. And then yeah, you fight Thanos. Thanos gets his ass whooped, but it's not the end. Then Thane, while he has the chance, he takes the thing, the Infinity Stone, plus apparently the whole suit of the Infinity Armor. I didn't know the Infinity Armor had the whole set, but I guess it makes sense when you only have the arm. And then at that point, Thanos actually teams up with the heroes, which honestly I say, nah, they shouldn't have done that. The heroes should have just taken it all in. It doesn't seem right for Thanos to actually help. But, sure. Yeah, I mean, the game is called Ultimate Alliance. Whether the heroes are good or bad, they have to team up anyways, right? What? Red Shell didn't follow me. After that, let's see, what else do I remember? After Thanos does his thing with Thane to teleport. They didn't die, they just, I guess, teleported somewhere. And then one of the, I think the guy who, the Black Order, the guy who controls metal, he was about to grab one of the Infinity Stones, I think. But then he gets stopped by Nova, who is not playable. What the frig, Team Ninja? Where's my human rocket punch and Centuria Rush? I was expecting that. But no, he just shows up as a cameo, helps the heroes. Then the heroes all say, okay, in order to prevent more catastrophes, each and one of us is going to hold the Infinity Stones. And after three, up till DLC number 3, because the first 2 were just, they did have story, but no cutscenes or anything. It was just dialogue, here's new game mode, play game mode, unlock characters, costumes, that's it. The third DLC was where they actually added in like cutscenes, where Doom apparently stole the Soul Stone from Wakanda. And then somehow Doom has the magic to teleport people to another world. It wasn't a very long-ish DLC. But no, it was like the time length wasn't so bad. You get to meet Doctor Doom, you team up with the Fantastic Four fighting numerous bugs. It's clobber in time. And then you fight the Sentinel. Not Sentinel. What are they called? They're like the big galactic giants. I forgot what they're called. And yeah, basically the whole plot wasn't just to stop Doom. He wasn't planning to take over the world. Rather, no, the opposite. He needed to power up a weapon in order to protect Earth. Because as soon as he gets his ass beaten, we found out that Doom stole the souls of his own people of Latveria. But hey, it's okay, Soul Stone, you can return them back. Just like, well, not exactly like how it was in the MCU, but, you know, something close to that. And then Doom and Mr. Fantastic, you know, made a truce that whatever, there's apparently a galactic threat coming their way. They just gotta prepare for it. And then that's it. That's how that's pretty much the game in a nutshell. And I think I know what kind of galactic threat they're trying to foreshadow. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Although, unless you told me there's something more threatening than Galactus, I would believe you. Or hell, the Thanos does has a wife named Death. Imagine if that was the case, Thanos and Thane teleported elsewhere and they meet up with wife/mom. And Death be like, honey, I mean, sweetie, what? You telling me You had the Infinity Stones, but you got your ass whooped, and then your son stole your thunder, and he dared to wear the whole armor set. I told you boys you boys couldn't do jack. So allow me to come in. And what's better than one trouble? Again, double trouble. Galactus. And here we are, 2025. No direct sequel. No Ultimate Alliance 4. Hey, can you blame Team Ninja? I mean, then again, we don't know who actually owns the Ultimate Alliance games. Team Ninja was just... Honestly, I think they were just randomly picked. I never looked at Team Ninja as the kind of game developers to make Ultimate Alliance. Because there were no other games in the past they ever made that. Like, at all. When you think of Team Ninja, do you think of Ultimate Alliance? Or a game like Ultimate Alliance? No. When you think of Team Ninja, you either think Dead or Alive, fighting game, or hack and slash games like Ninja Gaiden. Or in this case, also like Neo, Wulong. Oh, shoot. So I feel like they were just randomly picked because Nintendo had a good affiliation with Koei Tecmo. Fighting game. Yeah, that's still a right answer. And here in my imaginative headcanon, it kind of makes me wish Team Ninja could throw in their idea towards the Dynasty Warriors team and make like a Warriors style game like Ultimate Alliance. And we kind of got that, but not really. Instead, we got Warriors Abyss, which is actually just Hades, which is not a bad thing. I need to go back to that game because the next update is coming up soon, and I have I barely even scratched the surface of that game. I've only finished one run, unlocked the level 1 difficulty, but there's like 5. But fortunately, one of the update changes they're making for that game, now when you complete one run with one character, you don't have to replay the standard run with all the characters. You can just use any character and jump to whatever difficulty of your choice. So they kind of made it less grindy. Plus, they found another way they give you another way to level up characters. So that's good. But anyways, yeah, I would be down for a Warriors style game in the same vein as Ultimate Alliance. And then yeah, going back to Ultimate Alliance 4, yeah, nothing yet. I mean, I guess it's probably has something to do with Marvel. Back then, because yeah, Ultimate Alliance came out like what, 2021, right? Or the year after. Yeah, no, 2021. I think. Yeah. And considering right now what we're looking at today, the Marvel today, they did make a video game division, Marvel Games. So I wouldn't be surprised if sometime next year, or I don't know when. It's kind of unpredictable. But I'm just saying, now that they have a dedicated Marvel game development team, studio, yeah, there's a good chance that they could make Ultimate Alliance 4. It's just a matter of... Actually, it's more like a matter of if and when. On the bright side, though, aside of that, at least there are some other Marvel games to play and to look forward to. You have, Marvel Tokon, Marvel Rivals, and then the beat 'em up game made by Dotemu the folks who did Shredder's Revenge. What was it called? Marvel Cosmic Invasion. Yeah, which I'm very much looking forward to. And I think it's coming out this year, right? This year, sometime this year. If not, I might expect them to delay if they need more time, which I'm fine with. Because especially in this day and age where game development, you know, hasn't been efficient. Yeah, no, game companies need to take their time, make games more polished rather than unpolished, you know. I mean, just look at what Ubisoft did to Assassin's Creed Shadows. or better yet, Star Wars Outlaws. That game was more broken than Assassin's Creed Shadows. What time is it now? 9:30. Okay, so I guess after this session, not this race, this session, we'll call it a night. Oh, hello. Was there a ramp that I am not aware of? Yeah, eat your pink gold arse. Wasn't there another Marvel game? Oh, right, no. There was going to be a Black Panther game, but that got canceled. I think it was the same reason with Perfect Dark. They saw I forgot who blah, sorry. who it was going to be published by, but the publishers, it was EA, right? I think it was EA. EA saw what the game was shaping up to be, and they did not like it, so they had to like cancel it. And of course, when people were digging in, finding out who was making it, yeah, they were like, "Oh, okay, no, that's fine. No, totally deserved to be canceled." In case you're wondering, it's basically, how do I say this lightly? It's made by not the same people, not the same team, but I mean like the kind of people that destroyed Dragon Age, the series. Like, you know, Dragon Age Veilguard. I'm sure you know the reason why people did not like that game. The representation. Especially one dialogue that should not have been in the game. And I'm not kidding you. This is what I'm gonna quote it. You remember that dragon weird humanized character? That character, like, it created such a buzz. It became kind of like not a meme, rather like the other way of a meme. Like, ugh. One of the purest example why people hated Dragon Age Veilguard. So anyways, yeah, the character said, and I quote, or that character quotes, character sits down. So, I'm non-binary. I'm sorry, just like how Peter Griffin said it, who starts a conversation like that? I just sat here. Like, literally, there was no reason for no character in a video game or any story to even point that out. Like, do I care? Do the gamers and the characters in the game even care? No, I'm kid you not. There is an actual, yeah, that dragon character, the abomination, I'm gonna call it, literally said that. the scenery is like they're in some kind of like dining room. I think they were supposed to be discussing some kind of plan or introduction. I don't know. But then that character sits down and is like, "So I'm non-binary." not it's not modded, because modders didn't give a damn about the game. Just like, Starfield. Like, no modders wanted to touch that game either. It was already bad enough when they first saw the character design, and then it got worse when the character started speaking and literally said that line, and I was like, I thought it was fake too, and then I looked at other clips. It's real. I was like, oh no wonder you're getting undersold. So yeah, case in point, when the publishers, the higher ups found out why people. Sorry, let me rephrase that. So when the higher ups found out what the devs were doing with Black Panther, they were like, no, absolutely not. We're definitely not going to make money off of this, so we're canceling it. And then when the cancellation was announced, people were upset until they found out who was making it, or what the kind of people that were making it. And then it became political. I don't want to stick my nose into it. I'm just, once again, echoing what has been said out there. It's old news, but it's like an ongoing trend with video games. Just like Assassin's Creed Shadows. If we're talking like recent game disaster releases. And it's at this point, it's kind of like once in a full moon we ever get a good game. Games like Expedition 33, Marvel Rivals, and what is it? What other good games are out there? I mean, they don't have to be like not AAA good, like good, but even indie games. Like I said, some indie games out there are great to the point where these AAA devs are like saying, "Oh, these guys, don't give them money. They're a threat to our society." Heck, those very same people, like Ubisoft, go out of their way on Twitter, of course Twitter, and say, "Can we get Marvel Rivals banned in America? Because oh my God, look at what's her name, Emma Frost. She's ruining our image. She's ugly." Dude, that's Emma Frost's character. Whether she's thin or thick thighs, that's always been her character. Heck, even in that movie, X-Men Days of Future Past, where I think that was the first time they brought the character Emma Frost in the movie, big screen. Yeah, of course, that's her thing. She's supposed to look attractive. Also, that's her thing. She also turns to diamonds. So, no, I think they said like, can we get Marvel Rivals banned in America because it's an offensive to all women? And yeah, that's coming from the same people who hate Warhammer, who hate Stellar Blade. They hate Warhammer because it's all men, masculine, no woman in there. But then when there is a woman, it's an attractive one. Oh, X-Men Origins, right. Yeah. But yeah, when it's a attractive woman, the Twitter freaks are freaking out, being like, "Oh my God, I hate when video games do this. Oh, it's the beautiful women." And you know what people did to fight back? They literally spat out and showed facts that, did you know, like, despite the game being directed by I don't know his name, the Korean dev, even though it's being led by a man, did you know that his wife was the one who created the character? And no, not the mocap. or the body scanning. The character design, like in concept, was made by a woman. And yet, despite spewing out facts, the Twitter freaks were still in denial. They're saying, "Oh, you're just making bullshit up." And hell, the fact that Yoko Taro loved Stellar Blade and, you know, accepted and did the collaboration with Shift Up, yeah, they were in the right direction. So much so that, again, by the time Stellar Blade came out on PC, at least that game went well. The PC port was actually good. It didn't have any bugs compared to like Spider-Man 2 or The Last of Us. But that aside, yeah, the game quickly in its weekend, in just less than 3 days, already sold 1 million on Steam. And then putting it all together, the game sold 3 million. Now you think 3 million is not a lot, but remember, it's a single player game, not a multiplayer. And Shift Up, the fact that they celebrated that milestone shows that they're fine with that number. They weren't expecting 10 million. No, if they wanted to, they would have. They definitely would not celebrate a milestone like 3 million specifically. Remember, game devs don't always have like companies don't always have like the same mindset. Let's make sure our game sells 10 million. No, that's Activision always with their Call of Duties. Every year, Call of Duty, we need our game to be at 10 million. 1 million, 5 million is not enough. But yeah, for other game devs like Expedition 33 and Stellar Blade, if they're happy with 3 million, even 2 million, or even 1 million, then that shows at least, you know, they're happy about it. 1 million is one thing, but 2 and then 3, then yeah, that shows that they got profit. Not only that, as soon as they hit that milestone on PlayStation when it sold millions of copies, apparently they were already in the thinking about doing a Stellar Blade 2, and it's already been, I think it's been confirmed. But nothing yet, nothing to show. It's all kind of like on paper, kind of like staged right now. And it makes sense that they would do like a sequel, because I can tell just by playing, and I even finished the game, and I was like, yeah, no, this is Shift Up's Stellar Blade is Shift Up's first console game, so there's a good chance that after the success, 2 major success, yeah, they're gonna do it. They're gonna start. They've already started doing some concepts of the second game. Plus, they also have another game, project. I think they call it Project Winter, whatever that is. It caused a shockwave for them. Shift Up started off making only a couple of mobile games, like before Nikkei, there was something called Destiny's Child. No, nothing related to the music that you know. There's literally a game called Destiny's Child. Also, that game had a collaboration with Team Ninja, and you should see Kazumi and of course Honoka in that game. If you've never seen Destiny Child, I ask of you kindly and cautiously Google it, and you'll see how based Shift Up were back in the day. I'm sure it was made by Shift Up, because I think I remember looking up their name, and then they did make a bunch of mobile games before making Stellar Blade. Although Stellar Blade only happened mainly because of Sony. Sony, you know, gave them the briefcase of money. The old, let's make a deal at a bar. Oh no, sorry, let's have a drink at a bar. So yeah, like I said, once in a full moon, we kind of get like good games. And then the cycle kind of just goes on and on. You have people being happy that we actually have a good game. And then you have people on Twitter freaking out, being like, ugh, why is this game so successful? Why isn't our game successful? We now live in an era where fan service does sell. But, you know, as long as the game itself, you know, is fun. Like, if Team Ninja were to make Dead or Alive 7, making the characters look good is one thing. But you also, Team Ninja will also have to remember that they have to make the game functional. Make it fun, a 3D fighting game. So it becomes a win-win for everybody. You have winners who will get, you know, attractive female characters, and then the other side will be, the other people will be like, oh, awesome, Team Ninja, I mean, Dead or Alive is back. Functional 3D fighting game. Although, to be fair, no, there was nothing wrong with 6. It was just that people did not like how Team Ninja kind of tried to tone down. Except not really, because you can still buy the DLC costumes and still make them look sexy and all. It just was lacking money support. It did had, I guess, some questionable designs, maybe, like gameplay designs. Like how for the first time in the series there's a super meter. And said super meter isn't just used for supers, but you can also, you have to use that to do sidestepping, or sidestepping attacks, which was weird, because sidestepping attack should be a free thing. Every 3D fighting game does it. They even made a change, update, a buff, where instead of having 2 bars, they give you now 4. Because they realize, yeah, I think people need to do more than 2 sidestepping attacks. But yeah, no, it was functional. It was... well, I guess the marketing also kind of harmed the game's release. Like, you remember, it was at EVO Japan on Twitch. And then Twitch would be like, core values this, core values that. I will give credit where it's due, though. At least they did, you know, kept Mai Shiranui. She was kind of a big deal back then. And for some reason, they put Kula Diamond. Weird. Weird choice. But sure, why not? Oh, and I guess the other cases of why Dead or Alive 6 didn't do well, they cut off they cut off some game modes. No, just one, right? No, it was just one. They got rid of the tag team. Which, yeah, I know, that's stupid. Because if you remember Dead or Alive, I think it started with Dead or Alive 4. 4 was the game that had tag team. 4 and 5, especially 5, they improved on the tag team, where if you can use any character, they can like jump in and continue the air juggle. But then there are specific team ups where if you look at their move list, they actually have like dedicated like follow-ups as you like tag in, tag out. And to add extra details, depending on if you team up with like a specific pair, they have like unique victory animations. But you know, back in the day when game devs actually put some attention to detail. Yeah, I know, it was a weird decision. I like the tag team. I didn't play it that much, but it was an option. It's optional, and heck, in a esports kind of style, you know, there could have been tournaments for that, because I would imagine 5 and 4 had like dedicated tournaments for tag team. And then actually right. I'm like remembering bits and pieces why the game failed. The DLC practices. Like as you already know, Dead or Alive 5 has had way too many had way too many DLCs. And because of that, I think Team Ninja was in over their heads thinking, hey, if it worked once, we could do it again. But as much as they thought it would do well, it didn't, because it was everything, all the costumes were, and the season pass was freaking overpriced. Like, some of which were like $100, some were like 80, 90. You had to like wait for them to go on sale to even afford it. But even when they're on sale, it's still expensive. It's like half the price. That's it. And so instead of $100, you're only going to spend $50. As for the costume variations, there is no, as far as I know, there's no way you can purchase them individually like how you did in 5. Like if you were not a fan of the season pass in 5, you could just buy the costumes individually for one specific character. Somehow they did not do that. Team Ninja just forced people to buy the season pass. And they tried to make it worthwhile by saying, hey, if you buy the season pass, you get like additional bonuses, like early costumes for 1 or 2 character. And then when it came down to the characters, some of which were returning characters, or no, all of them except for Kula were returning characters, but you had to pay for them. One of the characters was like a pre-order deal, Phase 4, another like Kazumi clone. The price for the DLC characters were also too much. Some were like $7.99, and the rest were like $10.99. Or mostly the guest characters like Mai Shiranui and Kula Diamond, which makes sense. Yes, I get it. Team Ninja, SNK collaborations, they gotta pay the collab taxes. But at least with those characters, you don't need the season pass. You have a choice. You can either buy the season pass to get the character, or you could buy the character individually, or you could buy the character and a bundle that has the character and their costumes. But again, you cannot buy the costume separately. It's either season pass or character with costume. And if that wasn't bad enough, it got even worse. There was another DLC practice that basically hindered Team Ninja to the roots of DLC practices. And it was tickets. Tickets of which you can use to basically change the color of your character's hair. And if I remember, if you had to revert the character hair color back to normal or to another color, you had to pay again, aka microtransactions. They treated it as like a live service game at that point, which is not off the mark since there was a free-to-play version of Dead or Alive 6. Yeah, I forgot. That was like another thing. If you didn't want to buy the full game, there was the free-to-play version, Core Fighters. You only have access to 4 characters, no story mode, but you can still play online, versus mode, time attack, but just no story. And then for the characters, you would have to buy them individually, or get the story plus character pack if you wish. But that's up to you, up to the individual. Or yeah, just buy the full game, and then if you want, get the $100 season passes. But yeah, the hair color was pretty much where the line was drawn. Like being forced to change color by paying, yeah, it was bad. And after 1 year of DLC development, they were done. Team Ninja basically had to put, just like Ninja Gaiden, they had to put Dead or Alive to rest for a bit until one day the timing is right. And I say that because look what happened. Team Ninja came back with Ninja Gaiden 4. But, they're not making it directly alone. They're also they're teaming up with Platinum Games for Ninja Gaiden 4. So if anything, if the same could be said about Dead or Alive 7, there's a possibility either Team Ninja will do it themselves or they're going to have a third-party outsource company helping them out. But we'll see. But yeah, I think there was like one more thing about Dead or Alive 6. No, I think I said them. I said plenty enough as to why the game didn't do well. But like I said earlier, the game is functional. The DLCs are optional. You don't need to buy them. I know characters, however, kind of like peer pressure, like you want to have them in your roster. But yeah, they're optional too. And yeah, they pretty much fixed they already patched plenty enough times to make the game, functional. It was already kind of functional when it first came out, but at least it's better now. I think I remember seeing frame drops as well in one stage in particular. But they did fix that too. So hey, the choice is yours. You can even go back to 5. Heck, there's even a free-to-play version of 5. Dead or Alive 5 Core Fighters. So the choice is there. The options are there. You could play the free-to-play version of 5 or 6. No harm done. And that's like one other credit you can give Team Ninja. They still keep both games, especially 5, still up on the store. Like the free-to-play version. Compare that to Tekken and Soul Calibur. Remember, Bandai Namco, they made that attempt too. There was Tekken Revolution and Soul Calibur 2 Souls, I think it was called. No, yeah, or Broken Sword or something. I forgot what it was called. It was like a not live service. It was like a free-to-play version, but it was weird. Like, they try to give that arcade-ish experience by limiting you on how many matches you can play. Like doing like a dailies or something like that. And you didn't get all the characters. They only put in a few, and then they said like, oh yeah, later future characters will come later. But it didn't take long for both games to just immediately get axed. In fact, you can't even play those games anymore. They got delisted. Cause, yeah, that practice did not go well. Yet somehow Team Ninja, theirs is still up. 5 though, the reason why 5 is still up, I mean, yeah, it's at that point, the most fan servicey game, and I don't mean that in the other term. I mean like the stuff though. The amount of effort and DLC they put into the 5 is all there. They had a couple of guest characters, a whole bunch of DLC characters. They even in terms of costumes, like I said, there's a lot. But what made those costumes special, the Halloween one especially, the Halloween ones were actually was a contest that Team Ninja put up. So I remember on Twitter, Facebook, they would tell people, hey, Dead or Alive fans, we're starting a contest where every Halloween you folks get to design a costume of only one of your favorite characters. And then after submission, we'll pick out which ones is good looking, and we'll actually make them as DLC. And the winners gets the costume for free, while the rest, like us, you had to pay for it. They even share like the concept art, like that's not made by Team Ninja, but made by the community, which is crazy. And it's kind of like when Capcom shows like concept art of DLC, the characters in DLC costumes, it's like that, but again, made by the fans. And Team Ninja have been doing that with almost every Halloween, until eventually they had to like stop when they started making I guess, started making DOA 6. And then aside of that, they also did collaboration costumes. They teamed up with Tanotsunoko, Attack on Titan, Fairy Tail, because Koei Tecmo had a Fairy Tail game, so it was kind of like a cross promotion. They even have a stage based on Attack on Titan. And I think it has a stage hazard where the Colossus could grab you and smash your opponent. I think. Unfortunately, though, it's been delisted because it is a license. It was never said that it was a limited time. I think it was due to like collaboration, license issues. But if you manage to grab the DLC before it got delisted, you would still keep it. You can even re-download it if you wish. But yeah, for those who missed out, you can't get it anymore. Same thing with Tanotsunoko. The Tanotsunoko costumes, all gone. But if you bought it beforehand, you can re-download it anytime. So that's what I mean. 5 was like the kind of game where a dev puts their whole heart and effort into. And then, you expect that their next game would do the same. Not really. But, one can only hope that when the time comes, excuse me, when the time comes, Dead or Alive will return. I mean, hey, I think it's going to come sooner than expected. And I say that because Virtua Fighter exists. And Virtua Fighter came back. While we don't exactly have a release date or anything, we just know that it's in development, right? We saw Sega showed off gameplay. But I say that because if you remember, Dead or Alive's foundation was made off of Virtua Fighter. So back then, yeah, when Dead or Alive started out, Team Ninja had to license the engine that Sega had was using for Virtua Fighter. And then when you put the two games literally next to each other, literally the control schemes are the same. The button layouts: punch, kick, grab, hold. That's it. I mean, it's... And then, yeah, if you remember, actually 5 is where Dead or Alive 5 was the game where Virtua Fighter characters showed up. That was like, I guess, one of the big break dealers when it was first revealed at some point. I still remember when Dead or Alive first was revealed. The fight was like in some kind of like highway, street or something, and cars were blowing up. And then down the road, they would announce that Virtua Fighter characters would show up. And it made sense because, yeah, if you play Virtua Fighter, and again, you know the history of Dead or Alive, it makes sense. And yeah, the button layout, all the same. Oh yeah, and yeah, did the Virtua Fighters get Halloween costumes? Yes, they did. They didn't leave them out, including the DLC characters. So, like, what's his name? Akira, Pai. What's the dude's name? I know Sarah Bryant, her brother. What's his name again? He was in there. It was just those 4, because I guess you can call them like the Ryu, Ken, Chun-Li, Cammy kind of characters. What do you call those? Poster boys, girls? I think that was also like one negative thing. With the lack of a Virtua Fighter character in Dead or Alive 6, I think the red flags were waving there. They were like, uh-oh. Oh no. All this talk about Dead or Alive, maybe I should play 5 sometime soon. Although, I think I would need to, while not a hard game to control, but I think I need to, what's the word? dust off the experience, the controls for some characters. Oh boy. Although that being said, I hope YouTube doesn't bonk me for just showing off a game and its content. Meanwhile, YouTube at the same time be like, yeah, you know, blood and gore, but maybe blood and gore, but gun violence is fine. Yeah, sure, okay, YouTube. Mortal Kombat's blood and gore is not good enough. But guns and Call of Duty is okay. Hey, there was a time when Call of Duty did do gore. World at War, remember that? World at War did something that Modern Warfare 1 couldn't do back then. And World at War came out after Infinity Ward's biggest golden moment. Gore. You had limbs flying, heads splatting. Mostly because the fact that they had Call of Duty Zombies. But even outside of zombies, multiplayer, campaign, dude, limbs were flying. They just tried to show, Treyarch was trying to show you the dark side of World War II. But sure, yeah, YouTube, blood gore is not okay. I mean, yeah, it's not okay, but gun violence is fine. Pretty weird inconsistency too, because sometimes YouTube is okay with blood and gore. Sometimes I said sometimes, because I'm saying this as I'm looking through YouTube and I see Family Guy gore, and they're okay with it. You don't need to censor it. Why? It's because it's Family Guy. It's a cartoon. Get that logic out of the way, man. Cartoons doesn't mean it's for kids. Silly gooses. That's like saying Rick and Morty is a kid's show. That's like saying if Fortnite is a kid's game. Yeah. Fortnite, a kid's game. Where you're running around gunning other players and be the last man standing. Or last fish banana standing. Or if you have a Doom Guy skin, rip and tear until it is done. Anyways, so next stream, well, tomorrow's Thursday. I'll see if I can slip in a stream tomorrow. But yeah, as usual, you'll know if I say anything on YouTube and Twitter on the post, then you'll know. If I don't say anything, just assume that I'm not streaming. Speaking of, no. I was thinking of like what was happening on the 4th of July. But then no, that I'm thinking like the Warriors Abyss update is on that day. But I could have sworn there was something else. What is this? Oh man. I just saw a Marvel game. Looks amazing. But it's a mobile game. Mystic Mayhem. Some kind of card battle game. Not related to Marvel Snap. I think it's like a whole different thing. Blech. Well, you gotta give Marvel games a chance, you know. Well, let's hope that Marvel games doesn't get in over their heads. Because when they start, they're right now pumping out some good games. But when the popularity gets into their heads, they're gonna start thinking alternative ways to make money. Just like how EA, they thought, you know, we need to make money off of FIFA, but how? What can we do? Oh, I know. Gotcha and microtransactions, loot boxes. Oh no, Your Honor, no, sir. It's not loot boxes. It's actually called surprise mechanic. Surprise, like Kinder Surprise. Okay, they didn't say Kinder Surprise, but I still remember how they were brought to court. EA representative be like, it's called surprise mechanics, Your Honor. That doesn't help anybody's case, especially EA. That horse anime game is killing it. They localize it on mobile devices and Steam. What's the rate? What's the overall rating on Steam? I think it's like, actually, last time I checked, it was like mostly positive. But let me see now. Where is it now at? Oh shoot! No, my keyboard's disconnected. It is now overwhelmingly positive, with over 5,000 reviews. And as a reminder, who's the developer and publisher for that game? A game about anime horse girls racing, derby racing, in a gacha game. Cygames! Yeah, you know. The same folks who did, same folks who own Grand Blue. Well, I did say that it was a really popular game in Japan. It took them many years, man. So many years to actually get that game localized. Was it worth it? Well, judging by that, yes. I don't even know how. I think on mobile devices, it's like close to 5 stars. I didn't get the hype, but until, well, then again, I think it makes sense. Anime girls as horses and gotcha fan service. I mean, I would take that over My Little Pony. I mean, no offense to any My Little Pony fans out there. I had a classmate that was such a big fan of it. I didn't despise him for that, no. There's no point in wasting your breath, especially today. Heck, you know, I found, even back then when bronies, yeah, remember that word? When bronies were such a thing. Yeah, it was definitely weird. Even the news media were talking about it. But to me, I found the whole thing to be funny. Like, literally, like, ha-ha funny. Not to the point where I would make fun of those people, because not my business. Not my place to say. But I will say, though, it was a funny moment that such a thing occurred. Meanwhile, you have the crazy folks going out of their way to say, you folks are crazy. You men, why do you like this kids show? It's not for you, it's for girls. And then you find out there's a dedicated convention for all the bronies out there. Yeah, and you have to remember, conventions are not cheap. They're not cheap to set up. They're probably like cost over $100,000 to rent out a whole building. You have to also consult like all the people who vendors who want to come in and sell their merch and make panels, you know. And then you have to think about the contractors, people who have to roll out the carpets, technicians dealing with the lighting and the speakers, stage setup, panel setups, tables, chairs, all those sorts. Again, not cheap. If bronies could have such a dedicated fan base to even afford thousands of dollars to set up a convention, a dedicated convention for their dedicated community, hey, you got to give them credit for that, man. It's kind of like the Sonic fans with the Sonic Summer Jam, where Sonic fans all share their fan-made games, and it's not if I'm not mistaken, at the time when it started off, it was not even Sega approved. It was just some fan-made convention, until eventually it grew big to the point where Sega joined in as well, chimed in and then joined in. But no harm done, man. I mean, Sega didn't mind it, because they saw that as a community that loves their franchise, the Sonic franchise. If it was Nintendo, though, oh yeah, trust me, you know what you get? You would get a cease and desist order, or a lawsuit if you opened up the doors to the public, and then they find out you are making a profit out of their franchise. Which is, yeah, unfair, but hey, some companies like to protect their properties, okay? Cut them some slack. Or, I guess, think about it. Try to imagine yourself in Nintendo's position. Imagine you have a franchise, a character mascot, and then you learn that some your fans are making money off of your own copyrighted thing. Sure, I mean, depending on who you ask, somebody will say, okay, that's fine, because at least that helps spread the love and spread more of my work. Or you could be the other guy and say, excuse me, but you're making money off of something that I made. Where's my cut? Where's my cut? I don't have a cut? Okay, I'm gonna file a lawsuit to you. So, you know, Nintendo chose to be the latter. And then Sega is the first, you know. I mean, yeah, maybe on a rare occasion, maybe Sega will say, no, stop doing this. Don't make profit out of Sonic. It's our property. Yeah, same thing. Yeah. Some Nintendo fan games like the Metroid 2 remake. Yeah, I know. AM2R. Yeah, that one. Despite all the effort, it had to be shut down. Honestly, I just kind of wish those people, like the Nintendo fans that make really great fan games, they should realize. Like, I know that they are hardcore dedicated fans, or maybe not hardcore, just fans, and that they love and adore, in this case, like, let's say Metroid. And then you want to go out of your way to remake a game for the fans. But at the same time, you have to realize what the kind of consequences you're going to end up with. Like, you think Nintendo's not going to find out? Of course they will. Just like all those ROM emulation sites that have recently been shut down. They've been around, those emulation sites that have been around for 5-10 years, they think they can get away with it. But then Nintendo manages to find them. And all I'm saying is, if you have that kind of talent, rather than spending your time making a game based off of Nintendo's property, because you know it's going to get shut down, why don't you just use that talent to make a fresh new original game based off of that, and use your love of Metroid as an inspiration? I mean, that didn't stop Igarashi from making Bloodstain, which clearly is a spiritual successor to Castlevania, and Castlevania is still around. Same thing with, well, okay, I was going to say Banjo-Kazooie with Yooka-Laylee, but we haven't seen a Banjo-Kazooie game, so can't use that. But, you know, case in point, you know? Or I like Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight, it's a platformer, a mix of DuckTales and Mega Man, challenging pixelated platformer. And did Capcom have a say in it? No. It was just a small team, small company, Yacht Games, that had inspirations of classic retro games, and they decided to make their own original idea. So to the Nintendo fans out there, they have to stop making fan games. Just take the things you learned in university, college, whatever. Take your inspiration and make your own idea. I mean, heck, I think one Sonic fan I remember, he started off making a Sonic fan game, but then he quickly 180 that and turned it into his own original game, which I think you know it as Freedom Planet. And yeah, by the way, in case you didn't know, there is a second game. They just released it at a random point last year, I believe. I didn't hear about it. I mean, I heard it was coming, but they didn't say a release date. But yeah, that game started off as a Sonic fan game, and then that guy decided to make it his own game, his own with his own unique characters that you cannot steal now. So, and yeah, and then guess what? That guy now makes a profit. He made such a profit that he was able to afford to make a second game. If you can be like that guy, if Nintendo fans could be like that guy, it's not impossible. You can do it. Of course, yeah, when you're too ambitious though, make sure you're cautious about that one too. You know what happens when you get a little too ambitious with a game. You get RE6. A game that was supposed to appeal to everybody, but it appealed to no one. But, you know, in hindsight, RE6 is not bad. It's a fun game. Especially more fun and funnier when you're playing co-op. I mean, have you ever seen Chris Redfield go on a slide or on those little kiddie rides in a playground? Well, now you can see that in RE6. Anyways, so I don't know how it got there. Yapping is too fun, but it gets exhausting afterwards. In fact, yesterday, or the last stream I did, after all the yapping I did, I just crashed down on my bed and I was just dead. I'm sure I'm gonna be like that later tonight. And I've already spent almost a whole hour of yapping, while you see Yoshi driving around in Los Santos. Or, sorry, Los Angeles. Anyways, yeah, no, Dan, I think that's a better time to close it off, right? And I still haven't found any silly tweets. Lately, I have been watching one of those, what do you call that? Daily dose of internet. Despite all the weird stuff happening around the world, sometimes, or some other parts around the world, there's always some silly, funny stuff happening too. Especially with pets. Earth is pretty big when you realize it. But whatever you do, don't go to the Bermuda Triangle. or one of those islands that have those cannibalistic tribal people. They do exist. I've seen documentaries. They're scary. Well, speaking of documentary, hey, at least you could also watch BBC Earth. Watch the magnificent world of the animals. Nope. Oh, Now this guy talks about the Mario Kart World thing. Man, some folk. I mean, I know a lot of things are happening in the gaming industry, but jeez, the Mario Kart thing was like kind of like old news at this point. Like 1 week, 2 weeks now. And nothing on the cursed world of Twitter. Ah, yeah, thanks for reminding me, Genshin. Missing out on their little pop-up shop. They were here in my local city. Oh, I'm seeing the video right now. All the merch. Oh, you. No offense to you, Hoyoverse, but you bastards. I had my hands full. I was busy and I got tired, and then I couldn't go. Oh, PS5, goodie bags, merch, cosplayers, Yai Miko, Raiden Shogun everywhere. Oh my god, so many Raiden Shoguns. And I think I know why. Because the next update we're going back to Inazuma. Why? Well, I just for a second I thought I saw Terry. I thought I saw somebody dressed up as Terry Bogard. What's he doing in Genshin? Oh no! Don't tell me he's a guest character. Now I don't even know. Now, of course, nobody ever knows when their next pop-up shop is going to be at, when it's going to happen, where it's going to happen. This is the first time they ever done it in Canada. Oh well, there's always next time. But at the very least, I do have a business card of somebody who is considered a authorized Hoyoverse retailer. So if I want some Genshin, Honkai, ZZZ merch, I can ask them. If I want to. They only do shipping. Bonanza. Oh, Mario Strikers is coming to the GameCube library thing, online thing. And that's it. It's just one game. Well, that's good, though. I played so much of Strikers. And I didn't even own it. I rented a copy. Definitely the most bizarre character in that game was those robots. And we never got to... It's unfortunate that they didn't bring those robots back in the new Mario Strikers. But I remember it was definitely... I will never forget how Strikers was like this edgy take on all the Mario characters. Even Peach was like showing so much attitude. It's like, damn, girl, if you had all this, if you had all that attitude, you should have done that towards Bowser and see how he reacts. And no, thank you. Sorry, I got distracted again. Alright, nope, that's it. I am done. Done the yapping. Whew! Where's my gold trophy? So yeah, next stream, or actually no, next stream. Hopefully, I gotta bring myself to do it, but it could be Dead or Alive 5. We'll see. My mood does tend to change. Today and yesterday was just Mario Kart because I was I was looking at too many Mario Kart worlds, and I was like, well, I'm glad I have the better Mario Kart game. No, like for real, people are going back to this game. Some folks have kind of like given up on World after that nasty update. And I don't think Nintendo's gonna revert it. No, they made the intermission courses, and they want you to like it. For better or for worse. I fear for the future, though. Like, what if they threw in DLC and all you get is not just retro tracks, but more long intermission tracks? Whoopee, indeed. Anyways. Alright, so with that, I will then see you guys in the next stream. You folks have a good day and a good night. See you, folks.